What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlemania here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including a major backlash from Backlash from the zombies, as Chris Jericho trolls the WWE and Batista's response to it, is Sasha Banks Lilly, a boxing champion seen backstage at Backlash, the real reason for Tamina's push, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now listen to the intro and get straight into the first story. Our first story looks at Backlash from Backlash's zombies. Now, fans and wrestlers alike are still talking about the Army of the Dead's appearance at Wrestlemania Backlash. In case you missed it, zombies served as the ringside Oh my god. I still can't believe it. Zombies served as the ringside enforcers as a lumberjack match between Damian Priest and The Miz. The WWE was promoting the upcoming Dave Batista action vehicle Army of the Dead, and they didn't hold back. The WWE turned the Thunderdome into a fog-filled wasteland as zombies ambled about the ringside area, apparently intent on devouring both The Miz and Priest. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing, and even some wrestlers talked about the WTF moment. Chris Jericho tweeted, "Zombies? Zombies? Wow, that just set wrestling back 30 years. Naturally, Jericho was having some fun with the rumors of WWE executives saying that AEW's Blood and Guts match set wrestling back 30 years. Fan Cody Allen asked Dave Batista, who just so happens to be the star in the film, about the zombies' role in the match. "Hey Dave, I love you, but this zombie shit on the WWE Backlash show was insulting." Batista replied, "What the heck are you telling me? You think I booked a bunch of zombies? I'm on a damn plane. Shouldn't you be tweeting Vince?" As you'll likely figure out, the WWE used a number of PC trainees to portray the zombies, with Fightful Select reporting that Combat Zone wrestler performer Joe Gacy, Daniel Vidot, and Cal Bloom, who is the son of Wayne Bloom from the 90s tag team The Beverly Brothers. As bad as the zombie bit was, the people playing the zombies did a good job, as did The Miz, John Morrison, and Damian Priest when they interacted with them. Again, it's still surreal that we're seeing zombies in the WWE, but I guess ECW did it in 2006. Next up, the real reason why Tamina is being pushed. Now, Tamina and Natalya are the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, and while Tamina has been receiving praise for her recent work, including some major props from Bayley, some fans are wondering why the 43-year-old superstar, who has been on the main roster since 2010, finally won her first championship. According to a recent report from Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer Radio, Tamina's push came because the fans started chanting her name at Wrestlemania, the one night or two nights that you actually have fans, and the WWE went with it. That was one of the stories at Wrestlemania, was cult reason or whatever, irony or whatever, the crowd got behind her and the decision was made to push her. There were rumors prior to WrestleMania that the WWE would use the show to try and gauge the WWE Universe's reaction to various superstars. If so, it appears Tamina got the rub thanks to some vocal fans. As with any decision by Vince, there's no telling how long it'll be before he changes his mind, but if nothing else, Tamina got a run with the Tag Team Championship out of it. Who do you guys think should challenge Natalya and Tamina for the tag belts? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, big changes to WWE's pay-per-view schedule. Fans expecting the WWE to announce its Money in the Bank pay-per-view next were in for a surprise when they announced the next pay-per-view will be Hell in a Cell. Now, they've already modified Backlash's name, and now it's shuffling its pay-per-view dates around as Hell in a Cell is being moved from its traditional spot of October to June. The previous 12 Hell in a Cell shows were held in October, with the exception of the 2018 event, which was held in September. Now, there's no word on why the WWE is moving the show, but this means that Money in the Bank will have to wait until July. And Mat Men Podcast's Andrew Zarian tweeted, "Hearing Money in the Bank July 18th with live audience." This is an interesting rumor considering the talk that they could hold SummerSlam in early August, which wouldn't give the WWE much time to promote one of its big four pay-per-views. However, this doesn't seem to go with the current rumors of the WWE resuming live shows sometime this July. One of the challenges of Hell in a Cell being held every October is that it pigeonholed the WWE into booking the signature cage matches for no other reason than because the fans expected them at the match. This has led to odd booking choices like the WWE pitting The Fiend against Seth Rollins in their first match back in 2019, as well as last year's Hell in a Cell where Sasha Banks took on Bayley. With any luck, the WWE is making the move because it feels it has some big time matches that need to head into the cell. one of which could be Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. But it's also possible that they just want to pump up its viewing numbers on Peacock by holding the event ahead of time, building more goodwill with its business partners. Whether this short-term gain is worth any long-term consequences is probably of no concern to McMahon, who's been focusing on the here and now. As always, Dave Meltzer has some ideas about what's driving the decision to move Money in the Bank to July this year, noting, "So the deal is originally the June show, June 20th, which is the next pay-per-view, was going to be Money in the Bank, and now it's Hell in a Cell, and the July pay-per-view is going to be Money in the Bank," because the idea is, I guess the mentality is that Money in the Bank as far as a draw would probably be the number 4 or number 5 show most years. It was the number 4 for a long time, but now they kind of positioned Survivor Series over it. Obviously number 1 is Wrestlemania, number 2 Royal Rumble, and 3 is SummerSlam, and then number 4 has been Money in the Bank and or Survivor Series. It's interesting to see Money in the Bank ranked in the top 5 in terms of the WWE's most popular pay-per-views, and if this is accurate, it's a plausible reason for the WWE scheduling it for their first pay-per-view with fans present. Now, the pandemic has made for some major changes to WWE's business practices, and as the company begins mobilizing for a return to live events with fans present, expect more changes over the next few months. While it's unlikely that they will move its big 4 shows like WrestleMania and Survivor Series, it seems like the other shows have no guarantee of staying at their traditional spots on the calendar. And next up, a boxing champion was backstage at Backlash. A history was made at this year's Backlash when Rey and Dominic Mysterio became the first father and son duo to win the WWE Tag Team Championship. But they weren't the only father and son there, as boxing beast Tyson Fury was there with his son. WWE tweeted pictures of Fury and his son with Rey Mysterio, as well as a picture of the youngster with none other than Mr. McMahon. Fury has called out 2-time WWE Champion Drew McIntyre for a match, but talks of a potential dream match have stalled since the pandemic. A battle between the Scottish Warrior and the Furious One might happen at one of WWE's Saudi Arabia shows. Fury defeated Braun Strowman by countout at 2019's Crown Jewel and teamed with Strowman a few days later on SmackDown, defeating the B-Team. Considering how much money Fury reportedly made at Crown Jewel, he has every reason to want to step into the ring for a quick multi-million-dollar payday. And finally, is Sasha Banks Lilly? Last but not least, fans are puzzled as to the identity of Alexa Bliss's creep-tastic compadre Lilly. While Bliss has been bringing out her demonic-looking doll with her, fans believe an actual wrestler will play the role. But who? Alexa's longtime partner Nikki Cross has been suggested as a candidate, but a recent Twitter exchange between Sasha Banks and Alexa have fans talking. The buzz began to build after the boss tweeted, "Show me again the power of the darkness." Alexa Bliss replied, "Gladly, always room for more on the playground." Sasha seemed intrigued, responding, "Let me in." This could make for a fascinating turn of events on Raw, but does Sasha Banks really need to play her? Nikki Cross seems better suited for the role, but as Wrestling Inc. reminded fans of an interview from last year where Banks answered a question about whom she'd want to tag with given the choice, she mentioned, "I would have to choose Alexa Bliss as a partner. She's so cute." If the WWE does have a wrestler playing Lilly, who should it be? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.